big question mark, and the fascinating story with Republican politics now is the Tea Party. And the question there is, can the Republicans harness all that energy, or do they get consumed by it? And I think it's going to be the best political story to watch in the coming year.
Okay, so I've never understood is there such a thing as the Tea Party? Or is it just a handy way of describing a lot of people who are unhappy about a lot of different things, much as what happened on the left, if you'll recall?
Very much so, Gwen. In fact, you often hear Democrats talking, they're kind of wiping their brow in a way because they're saying, we went through that for years where you had the real anti-war left, the hippies and all that gave our party a bad name. It was centrist, and it took the Democrats a long time to live that down. And now they see that, at least the Democrats are kind of hoping that that's how the effect is going to be on the Republicans. So you're exactly right, there's no organization, there's no Tea Party, but boy, there's a lot of energy, and it's really remarkable. In some polls, I'm not sure you should trust them, say more people identify themselves as Tea Party people than Republicans. It's quite remarkable.
But how do you measure how effective they are? I mean, we obviously had Massachusetts where they played some role,
right.
But how do we know, and how do the other Republicans actually know how effective they are?
We don't know, Joan, and we won't really know until the November elections. And it's a really good point because Tea Party activists, as we call them, that loose term, they turn out in big numbers for these rallies and that sort of thing. But if you talk with them, a lot of them are really not political people, and they'll tell you that. I haven't voted in the past, And so you have now. So perhaps they are political now. Perhaps they will absolutely go to the polls. But it's also possible that after this sort of head rush and all this enthusiasm, they might turn their backs on the political system again. Because remember, they're not so crazy about Republicans either. I mean, that's the big danger for the Republican Party.
Chuck, American history is filled with these splinter parties like this. Happened in the 1800s, happened when Teddy Roosevelt tried to run for a second term. When you look at that history, it almost always suggests these burn out. Is there any reason to believe that this is different? Is there some different dynamic underway now?
If you're exactly right about Roosevelt's Bull Moose Party. Repeatedly throughout American history, a third party will not work. Ross Perot, what have you. So if the Tea Party becomes a third party, it almost, literally on the ballot, it almost surely will fail. What the Republicans are hoping that they can do is say, look, we're the conservative party of the two parties, but we're conservative enough. And that's where they're having problems. I mean, these Tea Party activists are saying to some of the most prominent Republicans, no, you're not conservative enough.